All right, take two. Episode 28, take two.
29. This is episode 29.
Take three. We're good. We're recording. We're good.
How are you, buddy?
I'm terrific. I'm here to share with you the two big things going on in my life right now. How do you like my kitchen?
Oh, it looks good, man. That's like a
Oh, it's looking good.
new
So this
kitchen
is the
going on.
exact vantage point I normally record this from, and look at this craziness. Very exciting.
Did you find any hidden money in between the walls?
I did not find any hidden money. You know what they did find was an old, like 100-year-old window in the wall that they just boarded over from the outside, and they pulled it. And here's this old window,
Wow.
which I pulled out, and I'm going to use as a garden ornament, I think. But so we are in the midst of construction over here. There's dust everywhere. I'm living in it, but it'll be nice by the end of the summer.
Wow.
That's
So,
one of the exciting things. Here's the other exciting thing. Are you ready?
yes.
So
Ringo.
Ringo Starr last night,
Yeah?
right here in Worcester. Ringo Starr and his all-star band. Man, have you ever seen this show?
I watched a short video about it, but no, he's not playing the drums. He's actually singing, right?
He's doing both.
Doing both.
It's musicians, like 7 of them, and this changes every year he does this on tour. But Greg Bissonette is his drummer. So he's on drums all the time. And then in a higher riser in the middle is Ringo with his drum set, but he'll come down in front and sing. So Edgar Winter was there on keyboards. So they did,
Wow.
what was that? And then they did Frankenstein. So each of his celebrity guests, they're doing songs from that person's band. Steve Lukather is there from Toto. Steve Lukather's hot. And so they did Hold the Line and Africa. And then a guy I didn't know, I knew the band, of course, Hamish Stewart, who was with the Average White Band. And it's like R&B band in the 70s. They pick up the pieces, and it was phenomenal. Probably other than the Beatles stuff, the most fun part was Colin Hay was there, who didn't seem like a fit to me, but he was in the like, Who Can It Be Now? And it was phenomenal. Oh my God.
Wow.
Ringo sang Beatles stuff. He sang his solo stuff, the drums, and sang. It was unbelievable. Oh,
That's awesome. So I was going to talk about something else, another band that I think wasn't going to do now, but now I might as well bring it up. So I watched a bunch of videos about this band. Here's some of the people in the band: Joe Perry, Matt Sorum. You know Matt Sorum
I do know Matt Storm.
from Guns N' Roses. Glenn Sobel,
I know that name.
Brad Whitford,
Okay.
Butch Johnson. Buck Johnson. I'm sorry, Buck Johnson. Robert DeLeo.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah. And then there's another guy, which is the only guy that ever won an argument with a woman. Johnny Depp.
This is a band?
Yeah, and the singer of the band is Alice Cooper.
Stop it.
It's called the Hollywood Vampires.
Hollywood Vampires. I think you had me until Alice Cooper.
No, so here's the deal. It's a real band. They're really good. I was
Really?
actually looking up a video. There's a song that I really like from Spirit. I Got a Line on You. You know that song?
I think so.
So I was looking for people that doing covers of that song because I want to see different ways, because it's a song I used to play back in the 70s, and I
Wow.
want to play it again. But I brought it up, and it was Hollywood Vampires. I said, what the heck is that? So then I see Alice Cooper singing. I see Joe Perry. I see. By the way, he's actually pretty good. The Johnny Depp is pretty good on the guitar, man. And he's
Really?
singing too. Yeah. So I've seen a bunch of
Check that
videos
out.
because of what's going on, what happened with him with the court thing.
Oh yeah.
I ended up finding out.
I didn't follow any of that, but I heard about it.
Yeah, but somebody said that he's the only guy that ever won an argument with a woman. He was awarded 15 million. She was awarded 2 million in a lawsuit.
Huh. Well, good for him. He needs the money, you know.
Some of my
Pay a
friends
few
will,
bills. Pay a few bills of 15 million.
because she's not going to get it because she doesn't have it anyway. But anyway, a lot of my friends were following the actual court thing, you know, and they'll tell me stories about it. I says, I'm not worried. I'm not watching that. But then I watched a couple of things. It was pretty amazing. He's a funny guy. He's a weird guy, but he's very
I
funny.
knew nothing about any of the case. I did see him laughing in court on some clip somewhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because it was just so strange.
But I don't. Was it just like a defamation of character suit that they were going back and forth on or something?
Basically, what it boils down to, from what I can understand, what people are saying, that she was saying that he's a really really bad wife abuser, you know, and hitting her and stuff. But come to find out, most of the stuff was lies, and you know, it was proven there was lies. So it's like this thing went on forever. Wow, what a shame.
Crazy world out there. It's funny though. You mentioned this band, and as everybody like ages, it's hysterical because we kind of just grew up with this. So of course they grow up too. Like Ringo Starr is 82 years old.
Is he really?
And he is jumping around on stage with like these really cool kind of sweatpants with and like this sequined jacket, and he's dancing and he runs up the stairs up to his drum riser. It was incredibly produced show, and Greg Bissonette, the drummer, was kind of appeared to me like to be the musical director. Like he was counting all the songs in and how to end the songs, and it was flawless. And they got the guitar techs backstage, so they're walking out with the guitar for the next song, and the guy's taking the guitar, put the next, you know, they brought these timbales out. In the middle of Frankenstein, that timbale thing that goes back and forth with the drums. Yeah. So Edgar Winter, who I thought was 120 years old in the 70s, he's only 75 today. And he was rocking these timbales. He's going back and forth with Greg Bissonette on the drums for that drum fill back and forth in the middle of Frankenstein with the and the synthesizer. They did every song flawlessly. It was amazing. And at one point kind of went side stage and was gone for probably 15 minutes. Like, I'm sure he was just sitting on the couch back there taking a rest. But the jumped into, I guess that's off Sgt. Pepper, Get By With a Little Help From My Friends. And I'm like, I know they're going to close with this because you get this theater full of a couple thousand people. And, you know, he's all peace and love. In fact, what the shirt is, right? Peace and love. And it was everyone's singing along. And at the one point, everyone's clapping, you know. So Ringo's not just clapping. He's doing jumping jacks as he's clapping. Wow. It was unbelievable. You know, and the graphics and the lights on the screen behind him, he runs off stage and says, "Thank you so much. I love you. You're a great audience." And then the song goes into the chorus of "All We Are Saying Is Give Peace a Chance." And everyone's singing this Lennon's song. And Ringo runs back out and sings. And at one point he says, "Thank you, John." And I got all choked up. It was like, and they finished that. They all ran off. They came down and took a big bow. And I'm like, I wonder if they're going to do an encore, because that was like everything. And all of a sudden the house lights went up and that was it. 2 hours straight through, no intermission, energy, fun. I mean, these guys, they would like, Steve Lukather would do a Toto song and then introduce the next guy, and they would talk about, there's a lot of chatter on stage. You could tell all these guys, they appear to be best buddies. Lynn bought a program, she was reading it this morning, beautiful piece of literature, this program. And Steve Lukather from Toto was saying, this is by far the most fun I've ever had on tour in 40 years of music. And you could see it. It's like it's a big party and you're there with them.
Well, Lukather's a good guitar player, man.
Oh my goodness, spectacular.
I did see a video one time of that Ringo show, but you know, with the drummer in the back. I don't think I saw him play, but he was just watched a portion of it. I was actually surprised that he could sing that well. I didn't know he was a good singer like that.
But, you know, that was what Lynn was saying. He sounds amazing today. I said, well, that was even funnier because he wasn't known as all in the 60s. You know, it was just like, well, Ringo's going to get a song and we know it's him because it sounds like him. He was never a good singer. And I'm not sure he doesn't sound better today. It's unbelievable. And you know who sounds amazing? Colin Hay from Men at Work.
Oh, yeah.
His voice this is 42 years ago or 40 years ago. He sounds exactly the same. I mean, every song that they completely rocked. It was amazing. It was amazing. It's quite a show.
Cool.
And then, of course, he changes up the lineup. You know, I think Steve Lukather is there a lot, and Greg Bithonet on drums. But it's cool. You ever get a chance? Of course, you hate to say this too, but you know, we're kind of running out of time to see these shows. Ringo's 82.
Yeah.
So
when you said who's 75 that you said?
Edgar Winter's 75. I mean, I
Edgar?
thought he was old in the 70s, but apparently he wasn't.
See? So I'm still really young.
Oh my God, it was fun. It was fun. At one point, Ringo says, he's behind the drums, he says, "Are there any young ladies in the audience?" And Lynn is the first one going, "Wah!" And I'm like, I love that perspective. And he's saying, "I want to be your man. I want to be your lover, baby. I want to be your man."
Wow.
Getting up and sitting down and ovations. It was like a big party, and you're at the party. That's what it felt like. They weren't on stage playing to us. It was just a big party, and you're part of it.
All right, so let's switch to another band that I really like. Hurts my Stillface.
Oh yeah, I like them too.
I was the.
Of course, I'm a little prejudiced.
I was the gig on that one on the side.
We had our first rain out. So this was so a week ago today was Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. And, you know, you're playing for an outdoor concert and you invite a bunch of people. That's a month in advance. You don't really know what the weather's going to be. And so all week long, I'm looking at the weather for Saturday and it's like 50% chance of rain. And then it got to like 40. I'm like, we might pull this off. And then the day of, it was like 100% chance of rain. Starting at 2 o'clock, we're going to go 3 to 6. And so we obviously canceled. And I had a couple of friends who were around and came over anyway, just for indoor drink and food. But it's thundering, and I remember thinking, for the right reason. Ironically, Monday we're like, pick your perfect gig. So we just picked the wrong day, so we didn't get the gig in. We got a lot of rehearsals in before it. But
I knew you were expecting me to surprise you, but I didn't go. Hey,
because you knew you had better forecasting weather than we did. You knew not to come.
You remember the Dick Albert? The news guy, right? The weather guy?
Yeah.
One time there was a storm, I forget what it was, but there was a storm that went through New England. I guess it was like sort of a hurricane, but not too strong. And one of my buddies had one of those VHS video cameras.
Yes.
Right? So we went for a ride up to Kittery, Maine, or whatever it was, one of those places up in Maine. And he took his camera, and I had a microphone for some reason. And they just going up to people and interviewing them about the storm. The other, you know, they had no idea why, but they just started talking to me. There was one restaurant, there's like a seafood restaurant, they had lobster cages on top of the roof, you know, as a decoration thing. So people, you know, coming in and ask, "Hey, the storm here must have been really tough. Look, it actually brought in some lobster cages on top of the restaurant. Look at that." And then,
oh man, that's funny. You do know how to have fun. I love it.
Right. I'm talking to one guy. I said, "So would everybody have to evacuate?" He goes, "Oh, a few people." I says, "That would have been a good time to go get some TVs or something, right?" He starts laughing and stuff. It's so funny. Oh boy.
Oh. So to follow the Ringo night, so I'm a new Beatles fan, as you know. Quarantine, I became a rabid Beatles fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always known of them, but like, I'm in. Early birthday gift for me. And so followed up. I mean, imagine seeing one of only 2 surviving Beatles. Well, we're not done because Tuesday night, 3 days from now, we're going to Fenway Park to see Paul McCartney.
Oh, wow.
And I've never been to Fenway for a concert. So not only have I not seen Paul, to see him at Fenway, that's going to be fun. So to see the 2 surviving Beatles within 4 days of each other is crazy. In fact, there was a little bit of conversation, like it's so close that maybe one of us is going to show up at the other person's show. Paul McCartney showed up at a Ringo concert a couple of years ago in LA. They were close, but like Ringo's going to New York from here. They have 3 dates in New York City, so I don't think it's going to happen. But we're going to see Paul McCartney, and we got a VIP entrance in early for a, I don't know, some sort of private suite party before like 4 o'clock, 4:30. And a friend of mine said he usually gets to the venues between the sound check. I go, I don't know. And he goes, no, you're going to hear the sound check. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. I was talking to my friend Joe, who's like the biggest Beatles fan I know, and he said, you got to let me know what that is, because he's usually known to just kind of jam, or he'll do a song that's not in the set list for the sound check. So that'll be fun on Tuesday.
For me, I mean, I'd love to see Ringo, but Paul McCartney, I would love to see that. He's awesome.
He's on tour. He's been on tour for about a month. I think he started out in Seattle. I don't know the dates, but in fact, he's going to be at Fenway Tuesday and Wednesday. We're seeing him the first night.
Wow. So talking about flight lessons and stuff, you still doing it?
I am currently studying online videos to take the written exam. There's a written exam that you have to take and pass, obviously, which is significant. And that's for 2 reasons. A lot of my winter lessons got postponed because of the weather. And then I'm having some little reconstructive that behind me to get back in the air. But I'm going to take a lot of that time to finish off these videos, get studied up, and take this test and get this behind me. So that's the next big deal on my neck. Next Thursday, I'm having knee replacement surgery.
So I was watching a movie with Terry one time, and there's this couple on the plane, and the pilot died halfway through, so they had to figure out how to fly the thing in. The movie was awesome, but it's a real true story where a Cessna 208 coming from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
The pilot actually was all of a sudden.
This just happened, didn't it, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah. And this guy got on the thing and put his headphones on and talked to the tower, and guy from the tower told him how to bring it down, lower the elevation, whatever you call it. Says then when you get close to me, I'll catch you on the radar and I'll tuck you in. And the guy actually landed the plane. Didn't have any flight experience at all, nothing. How's that? I mean, that's amazing, isn't it?
It was like a picture perfect landing.
You know what that was? It was like.
Just for the record, that was perfect for what I'm hearing.
So I was watching the last episode, and the 2 things I've just got the shivers thinking about it. The way you were talking about Jen's wedding with a J.
Oh. With a J. Janet with a J's wedding.
It was just so cool to listen to tell that story. It's so awesome, man. Very happy for you and her and your new
spectacular. Let me see if I can share a picture here on the screen. I mean, I know I can. I'm not sure how well it's going to come out. I was just looking at this morning, as a matter of fact. It's funny you say that. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Boom.
Jen and I. Look at that.
Well, I saw that photo. Yeah, that's awesome. It's like you're both trying to decide which one looks happier.
Well said. I like that.
So that was really cool. And, one of the things that remind me of a story that I tell often sometimes is how you knew for 90 days you had to do the toast, and you weren't really doing it, and all of a sudden at the last minute you said, I got to do this thing. And you know how the brain works. When you realize it's time to go now, you did it. And you said it was an awesome thing. It was really good to do, and people loved it.
And it was even, the more I think about it, the more special it gets, because I do a lot of writing and preparing ahead of time for stuff I know that's coming up, because that's what I do. And so that's usually how I work best. And that experience was the opposite. And I also never really had any stress about it. It was like that morning, I'm like, all right, let me just, which is for me, just like a blank is the hardest for me. Like I got to start. Once you put pen to paper, I put a few things down. I walked away. I made a cup of coffee. I came back and it just hit me like, oh, I can put it all. Great.
So this is I mean, to me that was an amazing thing to watch. That I've actually watched a couple of times because I watched the way you were talking about it. It was awesome.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, yeah.
Huh?
I got to go back and rewatch. I haven't seen it yet.
It was good. You'll see what I mean. It'll give you the shivers just listen to it.
Oh,
It reminds me. Remember that comedy show I did up in Hudson, Mass?
of course.
You were there for most of it, right? I mean, I think you left early.
No, I didn't leave early. I was there for the whole thing.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know if I ever told you how that came about for me to do that show. And sometimes it's just a matter of deciding to do it.
Right.
So I was working at a place by the Tampa airport with Carl Fernandez. Remember Carl?
Wow.
So you know me, I always have jokes for about everything. So these guys at work there says, "Man, you're really funny. You want to go to Comedy Works? There's a comedy club on Kennedy Boulevard there, Comedy Works. They have an open mic night on Tuesdays. You should go."
Wow.
So joking around, I says, "Yeah, set it up. I'll do it." I was just saying that to be funny. Next thing I know, I get a call from this lady saying, "Hey, this is so and so from Comedy Works. I want to talk to you about coming in on Tuesday night to see if you can get on the open mic night." So I thought it was somebody that like a joke, one of their girlfriends or something. I said, "Hey, give me the number. I'll call you right back." So I waited a little bit, so I called up and they answered, "Comedy Works." I said, "Comedy Works? Oh shit." So then I asked for her. She says, "Okay, so here's how it works, Tony. We do open mic night, and it's usually about 20 to 25 guys that want to go on, but we only have room for 5. So what you have to do is you have to come in early, about 6 o'clock, and you have to get on the stage and perform for the pro. That's on the you probably about 2 minutes just so he can see then he's gonna pick 5 out of the 20 people that are there or whatever." I said, "Oh." So I went there anyway just to see what that would be like to.
Right.
So I got up and I did a stupid joke that was a big deal during the show. I don't know if I ever told you about this, but anyway, I did that one joke and he said, "Okay, take seats." I took a seat. I said, "Okay." He didn't even like me. He didn't give me 2 minutes, just 40 seconds maybe, whatever. So then when he picked the 5, I was one of the 5. I'm like, whoa. So now I have to really think about it. I got a piece of paper and a pen. I'm doing some stuff to come up with they give you 7 minutes.
I was going to ask you, 7 minutes is a long time.
So if you're not doing well at 5 minutes, they do the flashlight thing,
Right. You're out.
You know
Here's
how
the
that
hook.
goes, right?
Here's the hook. Yeah.
Here's a hook, yeah. But if you're doing okay, they might even give you 10 minutes or whatever. I don't know. So I get up there. It was the first time I had done this ever, but I always wanted to. I go out to the stage, and now the spotlights are on me, and I can't see the crowd at all, right?
Right.
So the only thing I could see was the 2 tables right by the stage, and one was 3 young girls that were college students or something, and I could see them well. But then the first joke that I told was so stupid and so funny that most people went, "Oh!" But the girls just laughed like crazy, but because they were laughing so much, it made other people laugh.
Right.
So then I did my little thing, and I ended up going over the 7 minutes a little bit. And then that one joke that I did, the first one that I did was so funny that a couple times when I told something that didn't work as well, I would bring back the gesture from that joke, and those 3 girls would start laughing again. The whole place started laughing again because of them. It was so funny.
Oh, I love it.
So at the end, the pro, when I got up the stage, he says, "Hey man, how long you been doing this?" I said, "This is the first time ever." He says, "Come on." He goes, "Yeah." I says, "You should keep doing it because you're really good." He says, "By the way, your rebound technique was awesome." I said, "What's a rebound technique?"
Right.
He says, "Well, when you told a couple jokes that didn't get the same reaction as the rest of them, which were really good, the 2 of them, you did the gesture from the first joke, you get everybody laughing again. He did that twice during the thing. That's called a rebound." I said, "I didn't know there was a thing." He says, "Yeah, yeah." So
Awesome.
then, talking to my family up north, and my brother says to me, "So what have you been doing down there?" I says, "Well, now I'm doing some comedy, right?" So, but I did the one open mic night. That's all. But to him, I'm doing some comedy meant I was doing comedy. I'm on a circuit or something.
Right.
So then he called me one day. He says, "Hey, listen, the Portuguese club in Hudson is trying to raise some money for the Lady of Fatima festivities or something. They're doing a comedy night to raise some money. You want to come up and perform? Are you coming up for the wedding?" I says, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Well, why don't you want to perform?" I said, "Sure." Thinking that they would give me 7 minutes of him, like.
I get 7 minutes for it. Yeah.
So Louisa calls me and says, "Hey, Tony, I heard you're really funny and you're coming up and you're going to be performing. I'm really can't wait to see you and all that stuff." She goes, "So you're going to be up for 45 minutes?" I said, 45? How about the other guy? She goes, "Well, there are no other guys. You're the guy." I says, "Really?" And for some reason I said, "Oh, that's awesome. Great. Thank you."
Of
I don't
course.
know. I have this thing that I do that sometimes I talk to myself. So after I did that, I got the phone and says, "Tony, why did you say yes? You know you can't do that. You've never done 45 minutes. So that was the question to myself. My answer was, oh, come on, Tony. All you have to do is 9 5-minute segments. And then when I said that, I said, whoa. So I got a piece of paper and I put like nine blocks. And I
I
took
love
about
it.
5 minutes for each one, right? And then this is probably one of the funniest things is, well, you saw what I did. I went to the dollar store and I had a bunch of props that I bought at the dollar store and I did jokes with that
Yeah.
there on the table.
Yeah, that's
I did,
great.
did funny stuff with the guitar. I did some stupid magic tricks. But then I'm thinking to myself, one day I woke up in the morning, I'm in the bathroom in the toilet. I'm saying to myself, well, I know so many jokes, but I don't remember them all unless something triggers it. How am I going to remember all these jokes, right? And I says, I know you're supposed to have a piece of paper on a bedside stand, so if you wake up in the middle of the night and you think of something, you write it down, or else you forget it. So I looked at the toilet paper, so what am I supposed to do? Write on you? I don't have a pad over there. I'm just talking to myself, right, like a dummy. And then I came to my office, and I got a thing with those, the labels that you can print that peel off, and you can. So I took a roll of toilet paper, and I took those labels and I wrote 8 shots, and I put it on a roll of toilet paper, and I pulled five sheets out. And I wrote State Trooper, and I put that on there, and I says, go into the sun, and I started doing that in Portuguese carpenters. I started doing all these stupid jokes on that thing. So Terry says, what are you doing? I says, well, I got to come up with a bunch of stuff. So, if I run out of material, I have to have these jokes, but I have to remember them. So I told her, she says, oh, that's a good idea. So then she gave me one of those little rollers that she had from painting, those little small ones. And I put the toilet paper on that roll and then put it in a bag. Then when I pulled it
Genius.
up, I was running out of material. I said, now this portion of the show is called Shitty Jokes on a Roll. And I had 25 minutes of those jokes on the roll of toilet paper, but nobody knew what was on there. They probably just thought I was just doing that for a prop. But I actually had
Totally. I was in the audience. It felt like it wasn't like, oh, he's checking his notes. It was a whole prop. It worked so well. It was amazing.
But the point is, when you said that you have 90 days to do the toast and you never came out, and all of a sudden you thought about it and you had to do it,
Yeah.
somehow I came up with a 45. Actually, I was up there for 70 minutes doing that show. And so the reason I'm telling the story is not to brag, it's just that
No, it's beautiful. It's the way the brain works.
just how the brain works sometimes. If you just say, I'm going to do it and you do it, it's amazing.
I think it was Sir Richard Branson that said, when faced with an opportunity, say yes and then figure it out, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you did.
Wow, it was amazing.
Presentation I did, my first client was Boston College, and I found myself with this email back and forth saying yes to doing a 2-hour workshop. And this is a year ago, March, and I'm like, what am I going to talk about for 2 hours? And each time you do, you gain a little bit more confidence. I just got an email just before I jumped on the Zoom this morning for our podcast for the No Hissy Fit Zone. I just got an email from one of my other clients, and she said to me, I'm hearing from a lot of our people trouble managing their grief through COVID and the loneliness factor and having lost loved ones to COVID. Can you present for us in October ideas around grief and getting by it? I'm like, wow. And of course, I'm going to say absolutely, and I'm going to figure it out.
So for Jen's wedding, did you guys have a rehearsal dinner thing?
Yes, so she got married on a Saturday at 6 p.m. Outdoor ceremony and reception was the dinner inside, which is the picture. Night was the rehearsal, walking through it, getting the timing down. And then we had a rehearsal dinner that night, Friday night, in the reception hall.
So when I was up there, my nephew was getting married, and my sister Teresa said, "Hey Tony, were you invited to the rehearsal dinner?" And I said to her, "Do I look like I need a rehearsal for dinner?" Too funny, huh?
And
Hey, have you ever been hypnotized?
I have not. It makes me a little nervous only because I don't want to be embarrassed in public, but I hear some funny stories. I've been in an audience of a large audience, several thousand at a convention, and there was a hypnotist on stage who had 10 or 15 people up there. It was hysterical. Amazing.
So one of my friends who's passed away called up, says, "Hey Tony, I'm going to go to this thing at the country club over there in Trinity. There's a lady who's a doctor that is going to be doing a talk about nutrition and red rice based nutrition or something." And so I was invited to go, and I'd like to go, but he says there might even be an MLM. I'm not sure, but I'd like to go. I don't like to go to those things alone. Are you free? You want to go with me? I said, sure. So he drives up to the thing. I invite him. I got there and sat there and looked at the presentation was awesome. I noticed that the room next to us, like the part of the room, there was blankets and pillows on the floor, and the chairs were all up against the wall. So I knew what that was. Roger didn't know what it was, but I knew what it was. So after the thing was over, we walked up and we talked to the doctor that did the presentation, and I said, hey, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to look into it. And then I said, so we're taking up. She goes, oh no, aren't you going to stay for the hypnosis? And Roger, Roger's like his body's like mine. It's like we're not the kind of people that sit on the floor. You know what I mean? So I said to the doctor there, I says, listen, I would love to stay, but unfortunately, I can't be hypnotized. She goes, well, everybody can be. I says, well, I used to be real easy. I'd go down they snap their fingers and I'd be hypnotized. But I used to do all kinds of dumb, stupid things when I was hypnotized. So what I did is I went to 3 different hypnotists to hypnotize me not to be hypnotizable anymore. And it worked. Now I can't be hypnotized anymore. She says, I never heard of that. I says, oh yeah, it's a real thing. Of course,
I'm the only one, but it's a real thing. That's funny.
I just made it up on the spot. So I said to Roger, I'm leaving. You want to ride? You need a ride? He goes, yes, I do. Well, he had his car, but he just didn't want to be there.
Good answer.
So we're walking out, right? He says, well, you come up with that thing about the hypnosis. I said, it was a way for me to save you and me from having to sit on the floor and look like a bunch of idiots. He goes, well, that was awesome. I don't know how you came up with that. I says, well, that's the way it is sometimes.
That's funny. I just heard my phone ring on buzz, and I thought I might try to answer it on the podcast live, but
oh boy,
it doesn't matter. I was also checking the time because, as we know, Zoom now determines the length of our No Hissy Fit Zone podcast.
I just got the notice saying that I need to upgrade. I should say upgrade.
I'm having lunch with my niece and nephew today, Sean. So next Saturday, so I'm having surgery. I kind of like to believe I'm up for the podcast Saturday. Maybe I'll open up with just a screen on my knee, the zipper down my kneecap.
Well, I almost didn't do it today because I'm having problems with my back. You know how long I've had those problems for?
How long?
Since about a week back. Bada boom. Oh my, get too much, man. This is good stuff.
Awesome.
Can you believe it? I remember the day I called you because when the other podcast that I was doing, the guy had a hissy fit.
Heard about that.
I called you up and said, hey man, because the other one was called Tony and Mike on the mic. MIC, Tony.
So I input to that conversation.
So I said to him, hey, how would you like to be the mic of the Tony and Mike on the mic podcast? And he said, wow, so what's going on? So I told him, he says, oh yeah, I always wanted to do them because I listen to podcasts all the time. And I said, wow. And here we are doing the 29th today.
29. 29 is my kid's age.
And my coffee is white. It almost looks like vodka or something.
We've had a lot of public service announcements for our viewerships over the 29 episodes, mostly about how to have an alcoholic beverage during your Zoom call at work. But other than that, it's been,
Yeah, the secret is the one like it's hot tea or something.
Well, I knew you didn't need a whole lot of prompting. I'm really liking my tie-dye shirt. Can you tell this is tie-dye? I'm really excited about this. I'm going to wear this when I play the drums. This is going to be good.
Wow, nice.
Ringo and I have drummers playing righty kits.
So do you guys have another date for the side yard gig?
We don't yet. Unknowns in terms of my knee rehabbing and how I can get back to drumming. We're going to try to do something sooner than later because we can rehearse and write new stuff and I don't have to have a full bass drum going, but right leg, obviously, at this point for the viewers at home. So we don't have another date yet, but as soon as we do.
So there's a place in Hudson, there used to be a place called the Keyman Club, which is like a soccer team club that they had. And remember I told you about my friend with the camera and stuff? The Halloween party, he decided to bring the camera and I was supposed to do something for him. So I grabbed one of my father's jackets with a tie that was like with the big Ed Asner knot and stuff. And I had the microphone. And I put a thing on the microphone that said, like they usually say CBS or ABC, whatever. I think mine said TLC, which is my initials or something. I forget what it was, something stupid. But then I was actually going around to people interviewing them during the show, and they thought it was a real thing, but it wasn't. She was just messing around. But he was videotaping it. He was just going up and I said, "Hey, so how long have you been in the town?" And just asking all kinds of stupid questions and being funny. So the local cable company had a Portuguese station in the thing, and somehow that video ended up in one of their shows. It was so stupid. It was actually funny as heck.
Oh, that's funny. Mm.
Yeah, we're I don't know. I keep getting these messages, so we'll probably have 2 minutes left. That's about it. What do you have to say?
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I'll keep you posted for next week. We'll do a post-knee replacement surgery podcast.
When are you doing the surgery?
What's that?
When is the surgery? You cut out.
Thursday, June 9th.
Oh, Thursday,
Next
okay.
Thursday. 5 days.
Oh, by Saturday you should be fine then.
Oh, yeah. It'll be nice to have a good knee, be out of pain. I can walk again. I love walking. You know my walking.
Yeah.
Anxious to get back to all that.
I think I told you about walking across the street from me. There's a bar called the Jack Willie's. And
How long does it take you? How long does it take you to walk over there?
Well, here's the deal. It's actually in the upper Tampa Bay, so it's actually on salt water.
Oh.
Which is takes me 90 seconds to walk there.
Oh.
And they have a tiki bar outside and stuff and running water there. So it takes me 90 seconds to walk there, but it takes me 20 minutes to walk home. The difference is staggering.
Way to wrap it up.
Boom.
I love it. I love it.
Good luck with your surgery.
Thanks, buddy. I love it. I love you. I appreciate you and your friendship. This is a ton of fun. 29 in the can.
I know that's what I started to say. We did the first one, and now we've done 29 episodes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, I am in conversation right now with a guy that reached out to me because about podcasting, this and that, and how to get more views. So we're talking. I guess if you subscribe to YouTube, I don't even know what that means, but there's different levels of subscription. You automatically get more views because something happens. So I'm talking to him. He's a podcast promoter, he says.
Podcast promoter.
Eh? So the last one that we did, Zoom cut us off.
Yes.
It was a perfect place where they cut us off. It was just perfect. It was almost like we did it on purpose.
I think it's about to happen again.
So it says less than 1 minute. Upgrade to Pro. You're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So Terry does Zooms for her, with the clients and stuff. And during the COVID thing, they weren't charging anything. People could go longer.
Right. Not anymore.
Now she has to pay $15 a month to go longer. So
about to get.
I think people are happy with us about 40 minutes. We don't want to have to pay $15 a month to.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing very excited about this time frame.
For people to be bored with us with an extra 15 minutes for $15 a month, nah.
I'm hearing 42 minutes is captivating, and anything more is less captivating.
Wow, so we're right on track. Thanks, Zoom, for doing that for us.
Awesome, buddy. Have a great week. I'll be in touch.
Okay, man.
Thanks, buddy.
See ya.